All right. Hello and thanks for watching. My name is Harrison Dubasar. I'm a graduate student in the Master's in Public Administration. And that's me right over there as requested. Um, so today I'm going to be talking a little bit about Peru, which is a South American independent country, which is extremely prone to geological and hydrometeorological disasters, and it's experienced a lot to date. Archaeologists continue to uncover the history of disasters related to Peru, especially looking at the Incans, which faced some disasters in the 16th and 17th century. However, not much is known. So let's talk about what we do know, some of the landmark disasters that Peru has seen. January 10th, 1962, an avalanche hit in the Santa Valley. Um, I just want to first point out that the source that's used over there, Irby Jr., McIntyre, and Peters, is from a FEMA training guide paper that was put out in 2010 regarding Peru. It's referenced a lot in my paper and in this presentation, so I just wanted to take a minute to point that out. So it mentions that there's a whole lot of ice and blocks that came down, and here's the sort of the region where it came in. So it started right up there, made its way down the mountain, and just to give you a point of reference, that's 16 kilometers worth of height, giving a lot of room for this to travel. And so there were many people at the bottom. The incredible force caused it to destroy everything within its path. There was no warning with an avalanche, as there usually isn't. And according to this FEMA paper, more than 4,000 people were killed and 9 towns were completely wiped out. Next one, let's talk about the Ancash earthquake of 1970. When people talk about Peruvian disasters, they will most likely reference this earthquake. It measured 7.9 on the Richter scale and it occurred off land. The area affected was larger than Belgium and Holland combined. Since construction of homes in Peru they include minimal mitigating factors. They're not built to a certain code. The majority of the buildings collapsed in the region that felt the effects. Today, the death toll is, while it's somewhat disputed, it's more agreed upon, somewhere around 74,000 people dead, 25,600 missing, and 143,000 injured. And here's one picture of the devastation, and then, of course, here's another. As you can see, it just wiped out everything in its path. Another type of disaster that occurs is one that's caused by the El Nino oscillations. El Nino oscillations, which is off the coastline, occurred sometime around the winter, December time. Um, Brings tons of flooding, tons of rain. And so 1997 and 98 season was worth mentioning, where 374 people lost their lives, 412 were found injured, and about 600,000 people felt the full effects. Again, since there's really no code, no building code, it just wiped out as much as it possibly could in its path. So let's get down to the issue. Why is Peru so disaster prone? Well, it's located on the active South American tectonic plate, which is right there where the red dot is. And then, of course, it's subducted by the Nazca plate, which creates an incredibly high potential for seismicity. So, what is the emergency management response? Well, let's first talk about the Sistema Nacional de Defensa Civil, which are SINADICI, which it's the governing national system of defense. So it is at the national level which provides programs for prevention and relief with participation of authorities and population in order to protect the life and property and contribute to sustainable development. It is ordered under the Peruvian Constitution. It has three separate articles relating to it, um, and it outlines exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, another aspect of Peruvian emergency management and response is going to be El Instituto Nacional de Defensa Civil, or INDECI, and that is a more localized level of SINADICI, um, which is not it's referenced in the Constitution. However, it's not. It, it's sort of a whole another level of national defense that is a little bit more hands-on. But again, it's not necessarily localized. So under them, you'll have your regional civil defense committees, and those are going to be your hands-on government employees in each region. You know, in your capital, Lima, all the way down to the south and up to the north, they're all going to be different. And then under them, they have civil defense brigades. Civil defense brigades are usually made up of volunteers, and this is something that you usually see in South American countries as well as I know Haiti, for example. I work with the civil defense brigades there. So what kind of management is it? Well, I think it's pretty confused because nobody really assumes control of the issue at hand or what's going on. Um, every time that there's an issue, it's just sometimes the civil defense brigades are the first to take action, and sometimes Senatisi is going to go ahead and they're going to establish their dominance. It's a very confused form of emergency management. So let's talk about partners. Well, first, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent. They have the what's called the Model Act on Disaster Relief, which governs all cooperation, sends resources, sends mostly response efforts. However, it also outlines a preventative strategy. Um, then also, one of the biggest partners is the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. It has a conditional loan of $300 million right now to Peru in order to provide rapid access to these liquid resources so that it can deal on a timely basis with the extraordinary expenditures. Obstacles to disaster management. Well, I mean, again, it's a confused style of management. Um, Too many outsiders are trying to help. Too many people are coming from outside, telling them how it should be, halfway building and then leaving. And again, I put reminiscent of Haiti because again, that's the biggest problem in Haiti as well. And I've done some research there, and that just doesn't help when people come and let's say they just leave a tent but don't build it. I think that's the best way to put it. Another reason is the people are poor, so they can't build houses that are able to survive earthquakes, that are able to survive hurricanes, tornadoes. And then, of course, the geography is far from ideal. You have volcanic activity, you have mass population in the valleys, where, of course, they are landslide prone and flood prone. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint lesson. I'm sorry I rushed through it. There's just a ton of information, as I'm sure everyone else has on their papers. Here are some of my sources. Obviously, RB McIntyre and Peters was one of the biggest one, um, and I did reference the websites of Syneticy and Indesi, and I did translate part of it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'm sorry that it was long.